There is a very good reason why the Saudis are in no rush to normalize with Israel, because they don't have to. Once upon a time, when Trump was president and Kushner was his envoy to the Middle East, they were pushing for this massive normalization that is going to happen between the Arabs and Israel at the expense of the Palestinians. The Saudis were going to get something out of it if they were to normalize, and the Israelis were going to be integrated into the Middle East large market and massive economies. But what were the Saudis going to get? The idea was the Saudis, the Emiratis, the Israelis and others are going to form this anti-Iran camp in the region, now that the Americans are really not interested in any more wars there, at least for the time being. But this is no longer necessary. The geopolitics resulting from the Ukraine-Russia war kind of flipped the whole region upside down. The Americans are moving elsewhere. The Iranians and the Saudis have normalized their diplomatic ties thanks to the efforts of the Chinese. The Yemen war is no longer raging the way it used to. The Syrian situation has been kind of, is being sorted out. Syria is back into the Arab League. So the region is kind of going back in some degree to its former self, this time without American dominance. Alternatively, you have the Russian and the Chinese kind of staking their claims in the Middle East. So what would the Saudis get out of normalizing with a country that is ruled by a fascist government? Crazies like Itamar Ben Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich and Netanyahu and Deri, among others. The Saudis are not going to get anything out of it. So what the Saudis have been kind of sending messages to the Americans and to the Israelis saying, listen, we are willing to normalize, but we have conditions. If you read the conditions that the Saudis have sent to the Americans and to the Israelis, you would realize that the Saudis are creating a scenario in which they are trying to repeat the Arab Initiative of 2002, or restate the demands made by the Arabs collectively in their Arab Summit in 2002 by saying, well, you have to give Palestinians a state, Palestinians would have to protect their own houses of worship, whether Muslim or Christians. The Americans would have to do a lot for us as well. We need clean nuclear energy. We need the military age technology that is exactly at par with the one that you are providing. For Israel, we need to sign a mutual self-defense agreement, or a mutual defense agreement rather, with the Americans, and a lot more. The message that the Saudis are saying, they are not rejecting normalization, they are saying we will normalize, but based on the conditions, at least as far as Israel is concerned, that were listed in the Arab Peace Initiative of 2002. Meaning we are back to square one. Of course, Netanyahu will not give Palestinians a state. And of course, Netanyahu is not going to allow the Palestinian Authority police to go and protect the houses of worship, whether Al-Haram Al-Ibrahimi in Hebron, Al-Khalil, or Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, or anywhere else in Palestine. So the Saudis are giving them the kind of conditions that they know the Israelis cannot possibly accept with this kind of fascist far-right mentality. So this is the reason why the Saudis are not interested in normalizing with Israel, with the changing geopolitics of the region, and the fact that the Saudis cannot possibly think it's a good idea to go and associate with a fascist Israeli government while the whole region is moving to a whole new direction. This was Ramzy Baroud with One Take. Thank you.